Welcome to the channel, I'm Hayes. I'll talk movies all day, maybe eventually again I'll talk about games, so subscribe right now if you want to be entertained. But today, I want to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. And by that, I mean that I'm not above trying to capitalize on a trending topic. Although, by the time this video is ready, it probably won't be trending anymore. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about what video store clerk turned movie director Quentin Tarantino said about Marvel movies. A comment so egregious it got Simu Liu to refer to both Tarantino and Martin Scorsese as movie stardom gatekeepers. So, what did Mr. Tarantino say? Part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters, but they're not movie stars, right? Captain America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think it's been said a zillion times, but it's like, it's the franchise characters that become a star. Now here's the thing, if you've seen some of my videos before or take a moment to peruse my channel, you might be thinking that I hate comic book movies and I would revel in people making comments like this. But if you've actually watched the entirety of a video and not just looked at the title and commented after only seeing the first 2 minutes, yeah, I checked the stats, then you'll know I don't hate comic book movies at all. In fact, they're some of my favorite movies ever. I mean, I even liked Eternals. Okay, maybe like is a bit of a stretch, but it had its moments. Also, with Marvel in particular, what they've been able to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Iron Man all the way up to Endgame was nothing short of incredible. And because of that, I'm so invested in the MCU right now, I even watched every episode of She-Hulk. She-Hulk, bruv! But you see, that's just it. I didn't watch She-Hulk because it stars Tatiana Maslany. I watched it because it's Marvel. And that's no dig at Tatiana Maslany. She did good as Jennifer Walters, had a lot of emotional range and really captured the seriousness and the humor well. Tatiana Maslany was excellent. As far as I'm concerned, it's big up Tatiana Maslany all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. But truth be told, I would have still watched She-Hulk anyway if they got Meryl Streep. Actually, that's a bad example. I'd watch anything with Meryl Streep. But the point is, as good as Tatiana Maslany is, she wasn't the reason I watched the show. Just as Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't the reason I watched Doctor Strange, even though I thought it was great in Sherlock. I would have watched Doctor Strange regardless of who they got to play him, because it's Marvel. And yes, of course you still need a competent actor, and it can only help if you have someone who's already been in a hit TV show. But in the world of actors, that's not limited to Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, you telling me if Ryan Hurst or Cillian Murphy or Ethan Suplee was cast as Doctor Strange, you would have sat that one out? Come on now. You would have still been walking out the movie theater saying, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And I think that is what Quentin Tarantino is referring to when he says that actor isn't the movie star, the character they play is the movie star. And that's not just with Marvel movies. Daisy Ridley was the lead actor in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, a film that despite the controversy was still pretty well received by audiences and critics and went on to make over $2 billion worldwide. And remember how much buzz and excitement everyone had because Daisy Ridley would be the first female lead in a Star Wars movie. But where was that buzz and excitement for her next movie? Because Ophelia didn't even get back the money it cost to make it. And after that, Chaos Walking with Spider-Man himself, Tom Holland, didn't make its money back either. So let's not pretend you went to see The Force Awakens because you're such big Daisy Ridley fans. You went because it's Star Wars. But if we go back to say 1996, Leonardo DiCaprio's first big hit was Romeo and Juliet, and then later that same year, Marvin's Room came out, and that flopped actually. That did. And Meryl Streep was in that too? Yikes, how they messed that up. But anyway, Titanic came out and that did big numbers, and ever since then, with a couple of exceptions here and there, it's been pretty much back-to-back hits for Leonardo DiCaprio, which shows that Leonardo DiCaprio is the draw. He's the reason you go to see it. Leonardo DiCaprio is the movie star. If you've got Leonardo DiCaprio starring in your film, there's a pretty good chance it's gonna do well. Even if it's not based on a big comic book character or some other massively popular intellectual property, even if he spends most of the movie grunting and crawling through dirty snow, there's a pretty good chance that a lot of people are gonna go see that movie. But let me say this. It's not fair to compare Daisy Ridley's career so far to Leonardo DiCaprio. They started at different times in different parts of the world during different cultural shifts, so of course their journeys are going to be different. And I totally understand that box office sales have zero bearing on how good a film is, and doesn't even really determine how financially successful a film is, because there's still home video sales, TV and streaming rights, and merchandise. So yeah, looking at things this way is a little flawed, but it at least gives an indication of how many people were initially interested in the movies when they came out. So yeah, Quentin Tarantino was right about that. There ain't too many movie stars these days. But I don't think it ends there. Tarantino referred to it as the marvelization of Hollywood. And although he's legendary filmmaker Quentin Tarantino and I'm just some guy on the internet, I do think there's more to it than that. Tarantino said that comic book movies are all that get made. That's not exactly true. That's actually not even close to being true. In fact, that's actually a wild exaggeration. In any given year, there are way more non-comic book / superhero movies being released. Comic book / superhero movies, however, are typically amongst the biggest, if not the biggest grossing movies of the year. They're the movies that generate the most buzz when they're near releasing, and as a result, they're the movies that get referenced and memed and talked about the most. And there is a reason for that. People keep watching them. So with that in mind, should Disney just stop making MCU films? Should they just say, you know what? We're tired of making movies that millions of people enjoy and also make us a ton of money. Let's just stop. To me, it's kind of like when gamers complain about microtransactions. And hey, I don't particularly like them too much either. But the truth is, as much as people complain, plenty more people keep buying them, so they stay. It's not even that complicated. When something is popular, more of it happens. When something isn't popular, less of it happens. It's literally been like that since the beginning. Why do you think there's so many James Bond movies? This isn't new. What is new is the way we consume media. That's changed drastically over the last 10 to 15 years, maybe even a little more. YouTube and other content-driven sites have made it so that you don't need a million people in one part of the world to watch your show. You might have people spread out all over the world watching your show. In the end, you still got a million views. So by now, what we consider a celebrity has changed, or maybe evolved is a better way to describe it. Some of the most popular people on the internet can walk through their local area and no one would know who they are. And Netflix realized a while back that if you spend Hollywood level money on Hollywood level writers, Hollywood level directors, Hollywood level producers, and Hollywood level actors, you can get Hollywood level quality on what is effectively a made for TV movie. Now every streaming platform is producing their own originals. All that contributes to the evolution of what we consider a celebrity. And speaking of streaming platforms, hands up all those who looked at a brand new movie release and thought it looked pretty cool, pretty interesting, pretty all the good things, and still said, yeah, I'll wait till it's on Disney+. I know I've done that plenty of times, and best believe I'm a big fan of the cinema. It is the best way to watch any movie. But still, man, they're trying to go broke out here with all these jacked up prices, innit? So yeah, the way we consume media has evolved. What we consider a celebrity has evolved. And what we consider worth paying the cinema ticket price for has evolved. All that, along with comic book movies becoming so popular and Star Wars movies already being so popular, means we don't have as many traditional movie stars these days. But that ain't a bad thing. In fact, it could be a very, very good thing. Here's what I mean. There's never been an easy time to be an actor. Not now, not 30 years ago, not the golden age, not ever. Being an actor, or indeed anything creative as a career, has always been and probably will always be a tough thing to do. From the copious amounts of rejection to even when you do well, someone still hates you. It is tough. But right now is probably one of the best times for the entertainment industry. 30 years ago, there were only a few outlets, so each outlet was much more dependent on big hits, which meant a small group of actors got the lion's share of the work. We called them A-listers. Now that's not to say that nobody else got a chance, of course they did, but best believe many a film scripts got left on the writer's desk because they couldn't attach a recognizable name to it. Nowadays, there are a lot more outlets, so you don't need everything to be a big smash, which means more projects get greenlit, which means much more work for actors. This also means actors now, even lesser known actors, have much more control over their own careers. Back in the day, if you struggled to get work as an actor, you could try making your own stuff, but for every goodwill hunting you hear about, there's a million hunting goodwill that you don't. These days, if you're struggling to find work as an actor, you can set up a social media account and create your own videos. And yeah, of course, there's no guarantee that would lead to stardom, but it's an inexpensive, low barrier of entry way that most people have access to that still has the potential to get your name out there. Matter of fact, forget whether you're a struggling actor or not, some people just go straight to social media. In fact, some people had a little taste of the limelight and said, let me just do TikTok. Which brings me to my next point. Not everyone even wants to be a movie star. Now look, I don't know what Daisy Ridley's life goals are, but this is a person who has been consistently working as an actor since 2013 and at time of writing has 5 upcoming projects. That's incredible. How many young people you know get to make a living out of their creative passion? Matter of fact, how many people you know get to do that? Nah, you can't tell me Daisy Ridley ain't a success. As far as I'm concerned, it's big up Daisy Ridley all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. And you know what one I'm at? Let's big up Benedict Cumberbatch too, and John Boyega, and Viola Davis. Big up Zendaya, big up Michaela Cole, and big up everybody who's doing what they can to follow their passions and not letting these antiquated ideas of what success is define them. You see, if your goal as an actor is to be a big time movie star, that's great. Good luck on your journey. But I think a lot more people now are less focused on stardom and more focused on well-being. They've looked at the movie stars of old and seen what they've been through or what they're going through and decided if the price of being an A-list celebrity is your inner peace, it's just not worth it. Look, if you're an actor and you can manage to keep finding work as an actor, big roles or small roles, your friend's crappy student projects or 30-second skits you upload to Instagram Reels, if you can find ways to keep doing the thing you love to do without having to compromise your integrity, you've already won. And the way I see it, that's much better than being a movie star. But that's what I think of what Tarantino said. What do you think of what Tarantino said? Let me know down below, and while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a suggestion if you don't mind.